Hey everyone, Boylon here, and today we're going to be doing something quite different than I normally do. And as you can see by the length of the video here, it is going to be a collab video that I did with MSF PauloP13, another content creator on Marvel Strike Force, where we spent some time discussing a lot of new things to come in the upcoming patches, including the new symbiote characters, She-Hulk, Doctor Doom, Level 80, DD4 Speculation, and more. And because the video is a bit lengthy, I have included timestamps in the description below if there are particular segments that you find more interesting than others. Also in the description below is going to include links to his channel where you can take a look at his content, and likely a similar video to this by his perspective will air there as well. But without further ado, let's get started.
Welcome to the video. As you can see, there are two of us on the screen here right now. Well, I am Paulo, and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Boylon. I'm a relatively new Marvel Strike Force content creator. You know, I just started at the end of May. This has been a little bit of a side hobby of mine, but you know, I really enjoy the game. I've been playing this for over 2 years now, and I just wanted to, you know, get my hat in the ring, I guess, so to speak, for videos here. So thanks for having me on the channel.
Yeah, absolutely. I got a video of yours sent to me by, I guess, an alliance mate, a friend, and a subscriber, all of those at once. Took a look, and it's pretty good stuff. So I would recommend, if you guys are watching this on my channel right now, head over to his channel. There's going to be a link in the description. Go click on that and do subscribe, check it out. He is also from the same country that I was born in, so that is something as well. So there we go. But yeah, today we're going to be talking about the three characters that are rumored, I guess you would say, but they're a little more than rumored for coming next patch. At least three characters. Technically, there's four that might be coming next patch, but three true characters that are rumored coming next patch. Would you like to say who they are?
Well, as far as I'm aware, you know, I think those are going to be Anti-Venom, Scream, and She-Hulk. I haven't been aware of a fourth, but if you know something that I don't, then maybe we should share that with the class too.
I guess I can leave the fourth for the end. It's a pretty obvious one, and that is depending on some information whether it is actually coming next patch or not. But we can talk about the other characters first, and then we'll mention who that is. So.
Yeah, I know we've definitely had some characters being pushed back too.
Leader, so excitement.
All right.
So, which character do you want to start with? Who do you think we should start talking?
Well, you know, I'm kind of curious about who they're going to be choosing as their campaign character, because you know, usually every patch there's a campaign event, and so which one is it going to be? Is it going to be one of the symbiotes? Or is it going to... I think if it's She-Hulk, people might be a little bit disappointed, but there's a good chance it might be.
Prepare for disappointment.
You know, we did get Squirrel Girl. A lot of people were disappointed about that in the previous patch, being the event character. Maybe we might get something similar here, where it's not actually a tagged character. So,
right.
What are your thoughts on that?
This is supposedly from a data mine, but it wasn't actually in the data mine, so it's a rumor/leak. But someone did share some information. I have here somewhere. I don't even know where I got this from anymore, but I will take a look to give the exact information. It says it came from another content creator of the game who said that he has sources that release information for the upcoming patches release methods. She-Hulk will have a $25 offer and will be a campaign unlock. Anti-Venom will be a $50 offer and will be a Blitz release, and Scream will be a $25 offer and will be a Blitz release. So,
well, if that's true, that's a bit unfortunate because, you know, almost everyone is probably looking forward to more symbiote characters, and knowing that they're going to be Blitz releases means that you're probably, unless you Blitz really hard, you're probably not going to get them much above 3-star, maybe 4-star if you push really hard, whereas with the campaign characters, obviously you can get more shards out of that. You know, so unless you have really bad luck like me, I had terrible
also, if this is
luck.
Accurate, means that for this would mean that Anti-Venom will be a 3-star unlock and the other two will be 2-star unlocks if this information is correct. Again, I can't confirm whether it is or isn't correct, but it's the information I have.
Well, if that is the case, then I guess I mean, normally the 3-star 100-shard unlock characters tend to be a little bit better than sort of 45 shard. Baron Zemo comes to mind, you know, like he had a really bonkers kit. So maybe Anti-Venom is going to be on that kind of level as well, but I don't really know too much about them, honestly. You know, I haven't, you know, I watched all the 90s cartoons with Carnage, Venom, and Spider-Man, but I don't really know much about these characters here. You know, I don't read the comics on the symbiotes, so Anti-Venom and Symbiote, I only, or sorry, and Scream, you know, I only know as much as I've sort of Googled. So...
Fair enough. Not many people did read those as much as you would expect for such a beloved faction of characters. A lot of people just know that they're there and they're like, come on guys, I saw them like once, and they don't really know a whole lot. I'm not going to go into too much about them, but there's also rumors of even more coming after this point.
Oh, so wow, even more symbiote. Well, there are a few more I think that I've heard of, people talk about and stuff like that, but that would be, I just can't even imagine, you know, because the three of them are so strong already. You know, unless they're designed to maybe turn them into a war team, you know, they could just add one extra character that could suddenly turn into a war offense team or something like that. Or a Black Order toppler. Some people have been talking about that as well. I don't know if that's going to happen this coming patch. I kind of don't think so. But maybe down the line, maybe.
Yeah. That's a lot of things that I've heard, actually. The other two characters, while neither of them are confirmed supposedly that will be coming, would be Agent Venom and Toxin down the road. So maybe they're going to build a third Spider-Verse team out of this. I mean, they're already going to have enough characters for that. But what you said about the symbiote tag being super powerful and adding a good character to that is the very true point of actually this, everything that why people are saying, well, they already are so good. You only need the three, and then you could put two filler characters, and you have a good raid team, you have a good Dark Dimension team, you have a good arena team for points, you have a good blitz team, and you can do a good war offense even with that, or war defense. I mean, I use mine every day, every war to take out Asgardians as it is. You give me two more symbiotes, oh, there's going to be a lot of fun going on.
Yeah, and honestly, I think what I'm most concerned about with new symbiote characters is alien spores. How many more alien spores am I going to need to collect if that's the unique that they end up using for those characters? You know, maybe they might not, but it does make sense. It would just be a lot of alien spores for a single set of characters, you know. And going into level 80 and gear tier 15, you're going to need even more for all 5 of them or however many there are. So keep buying those every single time they're in the store, because you never know.
Yeah. That is some of the best advice you can possibly get at this moment. You see BioGear, you buy it. You see anything that looks like a symbiote could possibly use it at some point, buy it. Because the only reason people are saying that this is going to be a Black Order toppler is because the 3 of them are already so good that people can't even imagine what the heck 5 of them are going to do. And now we know Agent Venom is going to be a 3-star unlock. I've been saying for a long time, they could just put out 2 really bad characters and give a symbiote tag to them, and they would be it would be an insane upgrade to the team. You only need bodies standing there. Like I think I made a joke that you don't even need to give these people basics or specials or ultimates. Just give them a passive and give them the symbiote tag, and they could actually be in.
I mean, you could just give symbiote minions. They don't even have to be real characters.
Yeah, they don't even have to be good. But now, if one of them is a 3-star character, you can assume that they're going to be good characters. So people are like, what is the limit? What can they possibly do? I mean, they're going to be the best raid team. I couldn't see how they wouldn't be. They're going to be the best Dark Dimension team. How would they not be? They already kind of are. Like, it is insane to really think of, but it's going to be a massive gear run. So, sorry, go on.
And it does make me curious about, like, sort of Dark Dimension 4 and things like that looking forward. You know, obviously this is going to be a bit tough if you want to use some of these newer characters in Dark Dimension 3 anyways, because if they're all, you know, the city tag, if they are the city tag, I presume they would, but again, I don't really know too much about the lore of the characters. If I heard that Agent Venom specifically, you know, might be a cosmic character because he does a lot of his things in space. Now, I don't know if that would end up happening or not, but Dark Dimension 4, since we don't really know, you know, what it's going to look like, is it going to be a bio lane, for example, and they're just going to completely dominate that section of Dark Dimension 4. So...
a bio lane would be insane.
Because that's kind of the only thing.
If there's a skill lane, that's going to suck.
And you're right, and that's kind of like the only. That's a lot of people are talking about that. You know, is it going to be the gear trait lane? You know, where it's skill, tech, that kind of thing like that. And skill would probably be the crappier one. But there's some, Baron Zemo, Taskmaster. I really hope I don't need to bring out characters like Nick Fury or Shield Security back from the dead from my Dark Dimension 2 days, because that's what I did originally in DD2.
Guess at that point you can go Proxima or like Sif or... Okay, that's not good. Characters like that, Proxima, Sif, Corvus Clave, Taskmaster, Zemo.
That's true.
How good is that team really going to be doing for you?
It's going to be as painful as the global lane was, even though you had Phoenix, for Dark Dimension 3. It's just, that was some of the worst lanes in Dark Dimension 3. As soon as I cleared global, Cosmic and City took me barely any time at all.
They were fun.
So, and it was manageable. I just felt global was just like smash your face against it, try to get a Dark Phoenix special, and then call it a day. And it was just quite the opposite of a fun mode.
Agreed, but Cosmic and City actually were kind of fun. So it's going to be a whole, to me, it's going to be a whole change in the actual game state, because you're saying that there might be actually gear origins for Dark Dimension 4. That actually would make a lot of sense on their perspective. So now I'm kind of concerned, but I guess we should talk a bit about them individually. Do you have anything like, let's start Anti-Venom. I almost said Agent Venom, but Anti-Venom because, he's first alphabetically, and he's a 3-star character. Do you have any thoughts about what Anti-Venom could look like in
the game? Or we're talking about kits? I imagine he looks kind of like I think he looks like a white version of Venom, but from what I looked in the pictures. Some people were talking online like maybe he might be so good that he actually counters some of Venom's kit. Now that sounds a bit strange, because symbiotes are so powerful already. Like, I don't know, there might be some sort of conflicting usage potentially. Like maybe you would not use Venom necessarily, but you would throw Anti-Venom in for a different reason. Maybe that sounds a bit weird, I guess, from this team-based game. But I'm thinking about the character, because the name Anti-Venom would suggest that he's Anti-Venom, And so I don't know if you would maybe do something different, but there might be a reason to include him over Venom. I don't know. I know we kind of know what they do already, the symbiotes as a team. Venom provides defense up for 2 turns to symbiotes. Maybe... I don't know, maybe, and they're kind of missing offense down. I was thinking, what kind of buffs and debuffs are they missing? And they don't have any offense down capability on the enemies as of yet. So I don't know if there would be something like, if he's at full hit point, I'm just stealing this from Venom. If he's at full hit points, he applies some sort of offense down to all the enemies or something like that. I don't know.
Gosh, that would be insane.
They're already so bonkers. It's kind of,
that would make them instantly the best raid team, because that's yo-yo done.
That's really what they're missing, I think, is that they do have the defense up, but even then it's sometimes hard, depending on what difficulty you're playing them in, it can be hard to apply with Venom, because obviously he needs to be pretty close to full hit points to trigger that. So if you could sort of get some sort of offense down on them, either from the start or, on the first turn, you would make a pretty big difference, I think.
Right. Okay, that's interesting. For me, I did bring a little bit of comic knowledge, and then just kind of what I saw the team could possibly use, because I don't see them adding 2 more symbiotes to such a good team with just for no reason at this point. Like, I feel like they actually had a full team in mind when they did this. So mind you, they have supposedly 7 characters, so who knows? But I was thinking what they could possibly need and how it could fit to the style of the character. And what I'm thinking with Anti-Venom is, I think he's going to kind of do similar to what Venom does with his basic, where he can flip positive effects on the other side into negative effects. I think he can do a bit of that. I think there's going to be a bit of taunt clearing, a lot of taunt clearing, because that's one of the major issues with the symbiotes, is they do get stuck on taunts. And then kind of a slight cleanse on the team. His main focus won't be cleansing for their own team as much, but I can see him doing a lot with the other positive effects on the other side, and then maybe a bit of cleanse here and there, mostly for himself in some sort. I can see him kind of doing some stuff like that personally, and obviously that's going to be really well benefited with someone like Symbiote Spider-Man and Carnage's passives buffing him basically just by existing. But
Do you think that that any of them might take up the protector role, or do they even need the protector trait at this point because they're so good? Do they even need a tank, someone that can taunt, or would that just make it too broken?
I don't think either of them would be. I know a couple of people have been theorizing some weird stuff about Scream possibly being a protector or the healer of the team, because they definitely need a healer at this point. Not really at all. I don't think they do need a protector. A lot of the thing about them is they all can recover so well. I could see perhaps him even giving some slows to the other team. That would be pretty cool. But I don't personally see him getting any taunts or anything like that, or any way of protecting the team. But if he is cleansing a bit and getting them off of taunts and allowing them to do what they already do very well a little better, kind of being another body out there alone is extra protection and gives them more chance to heal themselves up. So that's what I'm thinking.
I mean, they do have that 100% drain, so I mean, it's already pretty bonkers already. So maybe they don't need that, you know, and individually they can just heal themselves up.
Yes.
So
that's kind of what I'm thinking. But the offense down could be, again, extremely powerful between the defense up. So now you give them offense down. That is literally the thing I've been talking about for a very long time with Ultimate 7, Shuri and Yo-Yo, because the defense up, offense down, that's like a winning combination. If you can get that on the Symbiotes, you don't really need Shuri or Yo-Yo anymore. Like, goodbye them. Like, just throw 5 Symbiotes, because they're already doing that, and they're going to heal themselves a whole lot better than anyone else is. And you're not going to be wasting damage for a healer. Like, that's game over. If they do put that on Anti-Venom's kit, that would be insane.
Maybe some immunity might help. That might help them block out some heal blocks. That's a little bit of an issue sometimes with them, is the heal blocking, and you know, either getting it off them, or you know, taking so many turns through Carnage's passive that you just force it out by taking enough turns that the heal block falls off.
Yeah, that's currently my method. Is just, oh no, I'm heal blocked. Let's just put a bunch of people at low health so that I can get enough turns where I'm not heal blocked.
Basically.
Immunity on Anti-Venom could be something interesting. It would make sense with the type of character he is, some of his comic lore. It fits that pretty well. And that would help the team actually a fair bit. So that is interesting. When I was thinking about the two characters together, I did think of something to deal with the heal block, but I didn't have it for Anti-Venom. I'll leave it at that.
I was wondering if maybe they might have some sort of team up, you know, because that kind of, I don't know. They haven't done team ups too often, but maybe there might be something where, you know, in the presence of Venom or with Venom, you know, this happens with Anti-Venom.
That would be cool. That would actually be pretty cool.
Or maybe clear the heal block off of Venom, or I don't know, because you know he's the one that needs to be higher hit points in order to trigger that defense up. So
right, that is fair. That would be interesting. I would be cool. I would be happy to see some team up animations for any of the symbiotes, because I do like the symbiotes. They have really cool animations, and they take a lot of turns. So cool animations is always good.
All right, well, what do you think about Scream then? So we've talked a bit about Anti-Venom. Let's go on to Scream and see what's she going to do. She's supposedly a 45-shot unlock, which means that maybe she'll be good, but not as good as Anti-Venom, potentially. What kind of role might she fill?
I came up with a weird thought. Based on how other people were talking about her, they were all saying that she could be the protector or the healer in some weird ways. I'm like, they don't really need another healer. If they do get another healer, that's kind of crazy. But then I'm like, oh, okay, I have an idea of what could happen. I mean, well, I think someone was actually theorizing Anti-Venom could be like a weird way of death proof. Like upon first time someone drops to 0 health, he heals them to 40% health or something. I was like, okay, that's a little too powerful. So my kind of compromise was this. So you know how I'll actually go to Carnage's passive so that we can actually take a look at this. So I can just say specific numbers here that I kind of derive from Carnage's passive. Okay, it's not wanting to load. But now we all know Carnage's passive. Marvel Strike Force.
I have it open on my end, so if you need the numbers.
You have it open on yours? Perfect. Okay, there we go. All right. It says, when an enemy drops below 25% health, fill speed bar by 30% for self. and all symbiote allies, and heal for 10% of this character's max health, which is insanely powerful because just heal everyone up and give them turn meter anytime someone on the enemy team is dying. What I was thinking was kind of rework this kit a little bit, this passive, and give it to Scream. To when a symbiote drops below 25% health, fill their speed bar by 30% and heal for 10%. But before that, clear heal block. So when a symbiote drops below 25% health, clear all heal block, fill their speed bar by 30%, and heal them for 10% of their health.
That could be interesting. Is that a bit too low? Is 25 too low to trigger that? It's a lot of things are about 50%. You see in text. I don't know if 25% is taking it pretty close. The line, just especially in like higher Ultimus.
I think it could be, but I think that would be a good reason for it. After all, this team is super powerful, and giving them every time a symbiote drops below a certain point of health, they get healed right back up. If you do that 50% health, they will literally never die. You would have to kill them in one shot from above 50% health. Especially if you're going to give them turn meter and allow them to get turns in.
Now, is this going to happen all the time, or is it going to be a once per match?
25% health. That's the thing. I was saying an all the time thing, not a once per match.
Because, the crystal, the crystal and the empowered Thanos kind of thing.
Yeah. I'm saying that anytime a symbiote drops below 25% health, I think I was sacrificing the 50 to get a more than once. She will clear the heal block and give them some turn meter and some healing there. If they do that, that would be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking of another thing, almost like a Carnage-esque thing. I don't know, maybe like a special where instead, you know how Carnage kind of consumes debuffs to do a lot of damage. Maybe along the healer line, maybe she consumes these debuffs to heal a little bit, per negative status effect, the team.
That would be pretty cool.
Just sort of like that. Because people, I don't know, people keep talking about the healer aspect of it. Again, I don't know if they necessarily need it, but because they're already getting 100% drain off of Symbiote Spider-Man now. If you don't have Symbiote Spider-Man, then kind of breaks the team, but...
You still have Carnage at that point.
Yeah, I guess so. But you don't get the drain anymore, so...
healing against certain combinations. Yeah, that's true. But, yeah, I think the big thing for this team is they do have a lot of little things that they can do. Like, if any of the stuff that we've talked about here so far, if you add that to the Guardians of the Galaxy, who is a good team, they won't instantly become in the conversation, will this be countering Black Order? Mm-hmm. But these minor things, if you add that to an already insane team in the Symbiotes, they literally could be the best team in the game.
Well, on the lines of Black Order, would keeping these sort of raid-esque kits in mind be enough to do what it takes to counter Black Order in Arena? Are they incompatible in the way, or do you need to build characters with the idea in mind to counter Black Order characters and not just usable in raid? Yeah.
To me, I think this won't be taking the Arena title from Black Order. I think, if anything, it will be taking the overall title from Black Order. The issue I find with this, the Symbiotes are a very good team, and they may very well be like the second best attack team. But if you put them up against head-to-head through Black Order, right now, the way their kits stand, they don't do very well against Black Order. They're just the three characters who are very good, just kind of run into a brick wall with Black Order. Before Black Order came out, my Symbiote Spider-Man was on my Arena offense, and that was keeping me like top 10. I had to take him out of offense and defense right away because he literally becomes ineffective if he's touching Black Order characters or Ebony Maw. They're just massive counters to that. So I don't see, unless they do something really insane with these last couple of characters, I don't see them being a literal counter to Black Order. But right now, Black Order is the best Arena offense, the best Arena defense, the best war offense, the best war defense, the best blitz team, a pretty good raid team, and honestly, one of the better Dark Dimension teams. I just got my full team up for my timed run, and it is so pleasant to just be able to go and nice Dark Dimension 3 run. this is one of the hardest nodes there. I'm just gonna press auto real quick and kill 6-7 characters today, and then I'll do some more tomorrow. Like, they are just insane.
Yeah, they're really satisfying to use as well.
I know people that are on 7.5, and yeah, people on Ultimate 7.5 are using Black Order and taking out multiple nodes with them. For an arena team, they're transcendent. I think that's what people are trying to say with the Symbiotes. I'm not thinking that they're going to counter them per se, but they will then be the clear-cut winners in pretty much everything that Black Order isn't. So maybe instead of they'll be the new number one, there'll be 2 number ones, and it's Black Order and Symbiotes are the 2 best teams in the game, and it's not really like you can't really put another team into that conversation anymore. It's kind of what I think.
Yeah, but I wonder if then so what does that mean for the state of the game? You know, because when Black Order came out, people were saying, okay, you know, it's going to be nothing but Black Order. And actually, in my arena, that's basically what it is. So in terms of raid, is the guide then going to be just build symbiotes? You know, especially if Symbiote Spider-Man, we don't know where he's going to go. I hope by the patch, you know, they tell us what's going to happen to him, because I think with new symbiote characters, we really need to know, you know, what's going to happen to Symbiote Spider-Man. Is he going into the milestone orbs? Is he going to be farmable somewhere else? You know, the team obviously isn't as good without him. So having a patch with other symbiote characters, I think we need him somewhere. But is this going to be a case of where, you know, screw everyone else, just level up symbiotes? You know, that's it. That's all you need. You know, kind of the way that people are saying about Black Order in Arena.
Okay, well, here's the thing about that. First off, yes. If you have a fully maxed Black Order team, you're probably going to only use your Black Order team in Arena. Because why on earth wouldn't you?
Yeah.
When you get to the very top of Arena, it is just Black Order. No matter what people say, some people out there are still saying, no, you use these hybrids. They're just as effective. They're not. They just aren't. None of the Black Order counters are better in Arena than Black Order. It just, they aren't. So yes, that is true. But not everyone in the game is going to have them fully to that point. And also, there's people right now without the symbiote team already beating Ultimate 7.5 at 100%, I'm pretty sure. Probably not a lot of people. But that means that at this point in the game, there are teams that already can do it. So would it necessarily mean that we're going to tell everyone to drop everything and just go full symbiotes for everything? Not necessarily. It depends on what it takes to actually get them. Something that I was talking with Mr. Free to Play MSF about when I was reviewing his roster. Why would you? He's like, yeah, I've heard this character is the best option for this, but if I can already do that, why would I drop everything to get someone else that could do something I'm already doing?
Exactly.
So yeah, sure, they might be the best team, but that doesn't mean they're the only team. So you don't have to use them. Now, if it's the reason that I hated Dark Dimension 3's global section wasn't just because it felt like you're running into a wall, but they basically forced you into using not only one, but kind of 2-3 characters. You had to have those characters or you were never going to do it. And it just felt like you weren't actually doing anything. You didn't have a choice, which is a lot of what this game is kind of choices. And this one was like, if you don't have Phoenix, you're not going anywhere. If you don't have some way to deal with Iron Fist, which is at the time was Shuri, you're not going anywhere. If you don't have some way to keep your Phoenix alive, you're not going anywhere. There you go. Yeah. 3 characters, global. That's what your team is. But you don't need to do that here. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah, I mean, that was the most frustrating part, and I'm sure a lot of people have that frustration in Dark Dimension 3, and I hope, you know, with Dark Dimension 4, they find a better way to do this, you know, more akin to Dark Dimension 2, but still challenging enough that, you know, we're not having to use specifically one character only. Although some might argue that, you know, Minerva was kind of in that position in Dark Dimension 2, you know, where everyone used Minerva, but, you know, there was alternatives. And I think it did come out actually before Minerva was released as well. So there were some people who
beat it before Minerva was in the game.
Some people were using Defenders, I think. It took a long time, but, you know, some people did it with different
They shouldn't have.
Don't do Defenders now, though. But
nowadays, just get the symbiotes, and that's probably the best Dark Dimension 2 team.
Yeah.
Like, Asgardians are good there. Like, there's a lot of options that you can go back and do Dark Dimension 2 with. I do it every once in a while because people ask questions like, would this character work? I'm like, well, let's take a look.
Yeah.
I have a lot of the characters able to try, so I'll give it a shot. But if in 6 months from now, if people say, will this character work on global? I'm going to like, is that character Phoenix? No?
Yeah, basically.
Well, tough luck.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't really have a lot of suggestions to people who ask, you know, especially once you get to the global lane, you know, can I do this without Phoenix? I'm like, sure, but you're gonna be there on for months.
You're gonna be on Node 7 until Dark Dimension 5.
And it's sad.
5.
Because I do know some people who actually have done Dark Dimension 2, getting ready for Dark Dimension 3, but don't actually have Phoenix unlocked because they prioritized Black Bolt and Ebony Maw, because Phoenix you need 6-star of, you know, some pretty kind of a couple of trashy characters that they just didn't want to invest in. So, and now they have all these other good characters, but you know, they're kind of stuck in global or thinking about global. So there's going to be changes to Phoenix, though. There's going to be obviously right now you get Hela, which makes it easier. The fourth character, let's just say the fourth character that is technically removed for this patch, this is not going to be any help for Dark Dimension 3, but technically speaking, the fourth character that is rumored for this patch will be eligible to unlock Phoenix in a weird way. So that's something that's interesting. A villain mystic controller.
Yes, amongst other things, which is the interesting.
Okay. Actually, I think I know who you might be talking about. Actually, now I don't know why I didn't clue into that. But do you think this person is going to be unlocked next patch, or if it's going to be the patch after?
I was thinking the patch after that, but in the game files, there is stuff regarding this character making its way in right now. So either they're just getting a good head start, or it's quite possibly coming, especially with all the gear coming to the game right now. It would make sense that they're about to open up something big.
Do you think level 8? Do you think level 80 is on the horizon for this next patch, or do you think that'll also be the next patch?
I'm thinking,
or 4.5 rather, not 4.4.
I was thinking that it would have been the next patch, but thinking about it right this second, I think it's going to come after that fourth character. They're going to let people suffer a little bit on that mode, and then they're going to be like, okay, now that you've wasted all your resources, here you go. Now there's level 80, which would have helped you in tier 15, and ISO 8, and some more Stark tech that you could have used. All of that's going to be open. By the way, save your Stark tech, guys, because that's going to be opening too.
What? I've been spending it on Elite 4 credits. Maybe I shouldn't have been doing that.
I have been too, honestly, on stream, but...
Well, maybe I should start saving again.
We shouldn't be.
But I thought you need level 80 actually for Gear Tier 15, so to equip the pieces for that.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, right, that is true. You're gonna have to need that. That makes sense. Yeah, you're right. But they do like letting people suffer a little bit before they actually give them a chance. So it would have made sense.
I mean, it's without a doubt going to be really challenging, but I hope that we, with the blog posts to come over the next few weeks, that we do start to hear more concrete details about the level increase and Dark Dimension 4 in general, because people are just, I think, salivating at, wanting to know what they're going to need to do, who are they going to need to consider, for these game modes coming up. So that's going to be the next challenge, I think, for us.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, so I think we've given a pretty good idea of Symbiotes, and we've definitely alluded to the fourth character a lot. We have completely left out that third character, other than mentioning her name once.
Let's go back to that.
Would you like to give any thoughts on that?
She-Hulk. So, I mean, is she going to be the fifth Young Avenger? Because this is what I really want to know. Is she? I don't think so. I hope not. Because personally, I'm actually a big fan of the Young Avengers, the real Young Avengers, not this mishmash Young Avengers that they're giving us here in Marvel Strike Force. I did read the comics, so I'm kind of one of those guys, unfortunately for this tag, that, I hope they're not doing that, But she is also an Avengers in the current comics now, so I don't know if right. And she's also, I don't know if she was I think she was a Defender in the past as well. So I don't know what they're planning on doing with her personally. There was talk way back in the day about this A-Force tag as well. With Captain Marvel, Jessica Jones, and a few others. So I don't know if they're planning some sort of mixed new trait. These are
Right.
just some spitballing ideas here. I just really hope they don't make her a Young Avenger.
Okay, that was most of what my take was going to be. Supposedly, someone has confirmed that she's a Young Avenger.
No.
I think this was a misinterpretation of what was confirmed. I think that she's going to be the logical fifth person to use with the Young Avengers right now. I don't think she is a Young Avenger. I think she will obviously be a hero brawler, which will give her a good fit there.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think she will be A-Force. The reason I'm saying that is, if you've noticed, most of the Young Avenger team is actually members of the A-Force. Like, they're almost all A-Force characters. So if they make her A-Force now, that would actually give them a chance to have some extra synergy and kind of give them a temporary A-Force / Young Avenger team as they bring new Young Avengers and new A-Force characters to the game to eventually make this one team into two separate teams. Because if all the reports are true, because I'm starting to realize there are a lot of reports of the confirmed fifth member of the Young Avengers. So how can there be so many confirmed fifth member of the Young Avengers? Well, maybe they're bringing in a whole lot of new Young Avengers and bringing some people that are currently there into a new team. So we're going to have both Young Avengers and A-Force.
I'd be okay with that, as long as
the most logical thing I'm thinking.
I just
you also have Kate Bishop has been confirmed young, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, but if we're looking at the young, I mean, there's 4 Young Avengers as it sits right now. A lot of people do use Captain Marvel as a fifth. So my question would be, if she's hypothetically being replaced, She-Hulk is replacing Captain Marvel, rather, she would need to do what Captain Marvel does, but better. Meaning she'd need to be stronger than Captain Marvel, maybe. Or have some sort of tag on her passive, maybe, that boosts everyone else up. You know, some way that you'd want to include her over someone like Captain Marvel, maybe. Because I haven't really played too much around with my Young Avengers, but I do find them struggling in certain instances. They don't, you know, they're kind of middle of the road, so they would need someone to really elevate them, I think. You know, maybe like a plus 20-30% damage passive, something like that, that you would take her over, let's say, Captain Marvel.
Interesting. I have my Young Avengers decently built up. On ward defense, I have them on ward defense now because I have too many offense teams, and I do have Captain Marvel with them on that. They're actually getting out wins faster than my mercs. They are winning a ton. But I will also say, in Blitz, they win on 8-3 with Gamora as the fifth without any issues.
Really?
Yeah. They also do weird hybrid teams. They work really well in raids. Like, there's a lot of stuff that the Young Avengers currently do well. So you say that they would need to be a better character than Captain Marvel? Tech, I don't really think so, because, yeah, your people are using Captain Marvel right now. But you can drop Captain Marvel anywhere, and Captain Marvel will make a team really good. So Captain Marvel has other uses. So it's not like the whole Beast for Psylocke situation.
Yeah, this isn't a dig at Captain Marvel necessarily. It's more about the synergy with the team would need to provide some more functionality, I guess.
So I think if they give a person that fits the team well, it doesn't have to be Captain Marvel Elite, but if it fits the team, it gives people like, okay, I can actually save my Captain Marvel and actually make, I don't know, any other team good, because Captain Marvel will work fine on that. You really want to throw with the Symbiotes? Sure. You have a defense that you're just missing someone? Sure. It doesn't matter. Captain Marvel goes anywhere and does well. But I just mentioned another character that just kind of fell out of homes and ended up a temporary fifth for some people's Young Avengers, Psylocke. Psylocke is another character that's on A-Force right now. Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, America Chavez, Squirrel Girl, She-Hulk, who is the leader of A-Force. All of those characters are A-Force. Pretty much every female hero character in this game is on A-Force, to be actually honest. But any, I guess, human ones, I think that covers it. So they actually have enough to make a full A-Force team in the game right now, and they could easily make a Young Avenger and A-Force team with just the rumored characters alone, and there wouldn't be any issues. They
would just need to do a bit of an overhaul on the text then, with all of the existing characters to add. Well, I mean, if you look at Miss Marvel's passive, you know, they added that whole Hero Brawler or Young Avenger, and now then it might have to be Hero Brawler, Young Avenger, or A Force, you know, or,
Yeah.
and so they're adding a lot of extra text then, I guess, if they're going to go that route. It could be quite interesting, though. I'm not going to complain about more characters being added to the game, you know, because more characters,
Right.
although, you know, there's a lot of arguments over that because of training mats. I'm not going to go over that here, but, you know, people are saying that there's too many new characters, not enough training materials to level them all, especially with the Emma Frost milestone. Everyone's spending gold and, like, running out, apparently. So I'm doing okay still, but I do acknowledge that maybe for some people it's an issue.
I don't understand how people can be out of training mats and still have gold. You can't see my screen right now, but I'm showing everyone my Hulk because that's, I don't know, he seemed the best fit for She-Hulk. But I have 50k gold right now. I have enough training mats to bring someone from 0 to 75, no problem. Gold, I don't have enough for a single level on anybody.
I'm looking at my Ravager Stitcher because he's my lowest level character, and I think I have enough training mats to maybe spend about 10 or 11 million gold, and then after that I would be out of training mats. That being said, I have
10, 11 million gold?
I have 12 right now, actually. So I could in theory spend all my training mats right now. If I were to just spend all my gold right now, hopefully I don't misclick and level Ravager Stitcher to 75. That would be embarrassing.
Devastating.
5 million gold on Ravager Stitcher, but I guess I've been really good at saving gold as well. But I think that if you're in the issue of running out of training mats, maybe you've not spent enough gold in the supply store, because I do spend a lot of gold buying orange gear, uniques, mini uniques, superior uniques, whatever. And yeah, maybe I don't know, there's an imbalance perhaps that some people aren't spending as much there, therefore they have a lot of extra gold to level characters for whatever reason.
I feel like people are just leveling characters because it's the easiest way to spend a bunch of gold, but they're not really paying attention to what they're leveling. Because there's only some, to me, you get a character, if you need to spend a bit of gold and you want to build them up a little, the first cutoff is like 30. After that, you get to 45. Then you don't need to level them up until you bring them up to 60. Like, there's no reason to do that. So you don't need to bring every character to 60.
Nope.
But you also don't need to bring every character up to the middle points in between there. There's not a lot of reason to that. Usually, only level up the characters that you're planning on actually having a good use for them to be built up, and bring them to levels where it helps with the abilities or the gear tiers. Like, don't just bring them to random levels. Like, my Hulk is sitting here at level 60, because I don't have any plans on doing any T4 abilities on him, so I don't need any levels for that. And I have enough gear to be tier 9, which is really all you need for most of your everyday characters. If you're just using it as a blitz team, is 60 tier 9. Like, you don't need a whole lot. So if you're running out of training mats, you should probably look at what characters you've actually leveled up and why.
Exactly. Yeah, I think level 60 tier 9 is also where you need to take them up for balanced PvP as well, if you're wanting to use them there. So that's normally where I keep new characters. If I'm not sure if I'm going to actually carry them forward much, I'll try to take them at least to 60 tier 9. And that's where my Beast is sitting right now. I haven't really invested too much into him, but I at least put him there if I wanted to play around with him in PvP.
Yeah, fair enough. It's actually a really nice thing. People's personal opinions on PvP aside, if you are wanting to test a character and you know you want to build them a little, but you don't know if you want to fully invest in it, bring them into balanced PvP. Bag an alliance mate, do a draft, it doesn't matter, do one of those matchups. Just see how the character works. Obviously, you're not going to get the full synergy in all likelihood unless you have an alliance mate willing to let you test out a full team, which I do sometimes, and that's great. But at least you'll have an understanding of what the character looks like when they're built up. For instance, Taskmaster. When he came out, everyone was saying this character is atrocious in Blitz. He's really bad in anything but arena defense. Then you bring him into balanced PvP and you see what a fully maxed Taskmaster does. And now people are like, oh, then bring him to Dark Dimension 3. Because it went from absolute garbage in people's minds to elite. So you can get an idea, because some characters, they just level that way. They're not great until you get them really built up. So you can kind of get an idea of what a character's like just doing that.
And, you know, I think people were saying that about Squirrel Girl. You know, there's a lot of hate when Squirrel Girl came out, that people just really didn't like her for whatever reason. And then I pulled a 7 red Squirrel Girl, and I was like, okay, I'm doing it. I'm leveling her up. So I currently have her at 5 yellow, 5 red. But I've also been using her a lot in balanced PvP, and actually I find her very interesting and a niche pick, but really good in balanced PvP because she can cleanse and do a lot of things that, especially at the 7.775 level, you know, that is quite impressive, actually. So balanced PvP has actually sort of allowed me to see characters in a little bit of a different light, and also test, you know, the skills to make sure they're correct and they're working properly. But
which they usually are. That's a different issue.
Like Baron Zemo.
Yeah, nothing works. I just kind of I used to have every kit memorized, but when I realized that none of the kits actually were doing what they said they were doing, I kind of stopped memorizing the kits. So when people ask now, I actually have to look up what the kits are, which is, if you find some of my older stuff, I never had to do that, but now I do, because why memorize something that they don't even know what's going on? So. That's
true. So to wrap up She-Hulk, do we think that she's going to be probably gamma radiation for a superior unique, right? I mean, is that what it's pretty obvious, or?
I'm assuming, honestly, I don't know what Hulk's is, but if Hulk's
I think
isn't
it is.
that, it should...
Yeah.
I don't. It should be. If it's not, I don't know what went wrong. So yes.
Normally, I try to like save or try to guess what the uniques are going to be. That way, I can maybe make sure I have you know, a handful of them ready in case I do want to take them up, you know, to 13 or something like that.
I might actually have it somewhere. Let me look real quick. So you said you knew. I think we've covered most about She-Hulk.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I mean, yeah.
Do you know who the 4th character I've been referring to is?
I think so. Am I allowed to say it?
Go ahead.
Dr. Doom?
That is accurate. The 4th character I was mentioning is Dr. Doom.
You said Mystic, so and I think a lot of people are assuming this is related to Dark Dimension 4 rewards as well, which I'm pretty sure was confirmed now in the blog post. That was going to be the case.
He is confirmed for that. That is correct.
I would argue if you have Dr. Doom and don't have Phoenix, though, because you said it could unlock Phoenix, then there's a bit of a mismatch going on there, but...
Yeah, but the one important detail that I was... Well, first off, it's in the game files of Doom bots existing.
Yeah, I did see that one.
A lot of people were excited about. And it looks like Doom bots are going to have a similar mechanic to Mysterio summons, where if they get a turn, they're able to revive the original Dr. Doom.
Okay, I didn't see that part.
Then the other thing that is mentioned is the tags of Dr. Doom are Villain, Mystic, Tech, Controller.
Wow.
What does that mean? If he's Villain, Mystic, Tech, Controller.
Well, it means that you can use him for Phoenix if you somehow don't have Phoenix already. And it also means that if you're using Ultron with him, Ultron would extend any buffs, theoretically, right, that Dr. Doom would have on kill, because it's villain techs.
Yeah, that is
so that
cool.
could be
Those are both accurate.
That could be
he's also global. I forgot to say global.
Oh, right, okay.
But there is one part of it that you haven't mentioned yet.
That he has 2 tags?
Double start tech.
Yeah. Double
start tech bonuses.
Unless
Who needs red stars when you have double start tech?
That's true, you know, and maybe, you know, it's a shame they didn't do something like that for Ultron, but I guess if they're doing that for Dr. Doom, because, you know, there's a lot of complaints about Ultron not having red stars now, but yeah, I mean, this could be interesting. I just hope that Dr. Doom isn't a ripoff in some way of Ultron, you know, with Doom bots. I don't want Doom bots to be more Ultron bots, you know. I hope that there's something unique, more unique about it. If there's a summon.
Not like Killmonger's animations being exactly Punisher's animations?
Well, there's a lot, you know, or Rhino's charge that looks like Juggernaut's charge.
That's repainted at least.
A Monstrosity having the exact same model, I think, as Hulk.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. But they changed the Hulk model, so I don't know if it's still that.
What was I going to say about Doom? I had something on the top of my head and I forgot, but I'll get back to that. Yeah, I mean, he's probably going to be pretty bonkers. I hope it's not a bit of a ripoff, that's all. Too much.
Yeah, but the fact that he's double Stark Tech, when I first read it, I'm like, oh, that's cool, he has 2. That's weird, but not that big of a deal, right? I mean, now he's going to be good for Phoenix, and oh my goodness, he's getting double Stark Tech. And what is start tech bonuses like? 20%?
25%, I think.
So he's gonna have a bonus 50% damage just from start tech.
And in terms of red stars, I mean, that's what, like, is that a 3 red star bonus basically? Like 30%, 25%? You know, it's pretty.
50%? That's gotta be five red star. Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, just the additional 25%. I'm not sure what kind of red star level that sort of is basically, but that does make up for that. And if he does summon Doom bots, you know, then obviously they're gonna get the bonuses from this as well. So.
Yeah, it's.
I can't even imagine.
But he will work very well with an Ultron, it looks like, then, in that case, though. So now that we're going to have Ultron and Doctor Doom on the same team, potentially, that is another world that I'm not sure if I'm ready for that. So I'm going to be honest.
I'm kind of thinking of, like, War Defense, you know, the first people to beat Dark Dimension 4 and facing these people in War Defense, and there's suddenly, like, a Doctor Doom, Ultron, maybe, like, a Tech Mystic team combo, villain team, you know.
Yeah. They'll feel as good as I felt back when I got Ultron for the beginning. The war, after I unlocked Ultron, I got 27 defensive victories because no one knew what to do with the Ultron. No one knew what to do with like a few of other teams that I had, and my Captain Marvel got like 9 defensive victories that day. I was like, wow, this is great. This is how war's going to be forever, and it's not.
Well, the only thing that I am concerned about with that, especially with the, you know, Doom bots, is Black Bolt, right? I mean, because he counters summoners. So how is this going to impact, or is there going to be something in his kit potentially that sort of counters Black Bolt or his ability to disrupt all summoners?
I think he spawns with immunity or something like that. I think that's already part of his kit.
Okay.
But that is probably just speculation. Which is good. But again, one thing about Black Bolt that I learned, he's good at countering Ultron, but Ultron can also counter Black Bolt right back. Because yeah, he can strip all the buffs, but that ultimate was, if Black Bolt's dead, he does nothing.
That's true.
And if, let's say, you spawn with a summon out instead of having to summon it, like one of the Doom bots is already there, and that Doom bot allows your team to take out the Black Bolt before you summon, then it doesn't matter.
So you think that maybe I think we're getting Chapter 2 of Doom War, I think, as well, probably this coming patch. I don't know if they're doing it that soon or not, or if it'll be 4.5. And maybe that's why the Doom bots and maybe him are in the data mines, because he's going to appear somewhere, maybe as a test run, or you get to fight him or something.
That could be true. That could be true.
Which could be interesting, because then you know what people might do is, if you're able to bring Sinister into the match, then you could do some sort of testing and see what he looks like on the other side, if that's at all possible.
Yep, and then it won't work and everyone will be upset. Like, why is the Red Skull not working? It's like, we haven't finished his gaming kit. Like,
I completely forgot about that, you know, like when Red Skull became a thing and then people took Sinister and cloned Red, because this was a good way to like check other people's kits before they were even out, you know, those kind of characters.
Yep. And then people were getting confused because I remember some screenshots where they were cloning some enemies with Mr. Sinister, and then they would bring that same character on their team, and they would show that they had different kits. And it's like, why are there different kits? And it's like, because sometimes they just decide to give the enemies different kits, and sometimes it's a good situation. Yeah. Like, what is it? The Red Skulls you see in Dark Dimension are pre the Red Skull rework, so he's not gonna infinitely revive all these minions. I think that's a good thing, personally.
Yeah, I mean, I think there would be a huge outcry if a lot of the characters that were reworked got suddenly, reworked in all the previous game modes as well, raids, Dark Dimension, things like that. If you run Dark Dimension 2, I think it is, or that has AIM characters in it, it's pre-rework as well. So any of those, Eat Signs of Supreme, any of the AIM minions, you know, they're all pre-rework, so it makes a pretty big difference when some characters get some pretty significant changes.
Yeah, this was actually a big issue back in the day with the game. I don't know if you remember this. Ultimus 6, I'm going to say Ultimus 6. I'm probably right, but it's been that long. When they reworked characters like Hulk, the Hulk rework actually ended up messing up a couple of strategies in Ultimus 6, because they used to change enemy kits with reworks. They don't anymore, but they used to do it every time. So Ultron's In Ultimus 5, there was a couple of Ultrons, and that made it significantly harder than it used to be. Hulk in Ultimus 6, so people were using Storm and charging her up on a specific node, but now the moment that Hulk got below a certain health point, he started attacking and killing characters, which never used to happen, so it ruined the entire strategy of Ultimus 6. So they stopped doing that because we complained quite a lot about it. And now people are like, why are the kits different? Because we begged them to be different.
Yeah, I mean, I don't put it past them to have some of these glaring issues going into the new patches, so fingers crossed that, you know, there's not too many, you know, problems, but I don't think we can go through an entire patch cycle without something going wrong, unfortunately.
Well, of course not. There's so much going on with this game. There's always going to be issues. The main thing is, what are the issues and how are they dealing with it, and what are they choosing to do to handle it? Because every game has issues. Some games are notorious for being really good at trying to deal with it. Like a really weird game, but it's actually been known for dealing with a lot of the issues really fast, has been Fall Guys. They've already put out like multiple hacker patches, so that game is not being hacked as of like today. Like that's really fast. Games that aren't so great about that historically, something like Skyrim. For instance, Skyrim to this day still has 95% of the bugs that were in it the day that it was released. Like, so it depends on what they do with it. There's always going to be bugs. One thing you learn, technology is inconsistent and tricky as heck to be good at. Sure, decimal points are just stupidity a lot of the times, but there's a lot that can go wrong. And you have to expect something's going to go wrong. But what they do with it is important.
And I think it depends on how game-breaking it might be as well. You know, I think they're pretty quick for some reason to fix some things over others. I'm pretty sure the Black Bolt burp bug is still in with barriers and hitting twice. And sometimes he doesn't even do the burp when you clear death proofs with his AoE or something like that. Like it should go off, but it doesn't. And he's been in it for 9 months now or something.
Black Bolt doesn't
8
work.
months.
Ebony Maw is starting to work, but he still doesn't work all the time, and they don't know why. There's like some really good characters that technically, if they fix them, are going to get massive buffs. And then I can already see the clickbait videos like, come on, Fox, next. Well, don't you care about balance? How dare you buff this powerful character? And it's like, it was broken. This is what we asked. Oh, gosh. But at the same time, it is true. It does matter how game-breaking it is. Like, they do respond to some bugs quicker than others. A lot of people assume it's because it's the ones that hurt them the most. Sometimes it's honestly just because most of the ones that hurt them the most are ones that are caused by overlooking simple things that are easy to address. Like, they need to change one number in the coding.
Are we talking about the 3,000 orbs?
Yeah, good old decimal point issues again. Which is, they have so many decimal point issues in this game. The amount of offers that have had to be rescinded and have compensation sent out for simple decimal point errors. It's ridiculous. But those are the easy ones to fix because all you do is hit the backspace button once. But you go and now, for some reason, in this specific situation, one of these characters' ability, which we have worded into the kit, isn't proccing. That's a lot more difficult to figure out why and how to code it to fix it.
Yeah, I mean, especially when it's just the interactions with barriers, so I guess which is a completely different mechanic for them. I mean, and at the time, it was relatively new as well. Not many characters had barrier, so I don't know. Maybe it's harder to code there. You know, it's harder of a fix, but it is kind of annoying, and especially in arena. You know, when I used to use Black Bolt and Invisible or fight Invisible Woman and things like that, and Black Bolt just was kicking my ass. But you know,
it actually just came up. I was helping someone else unlock Ebony Maw, and it relied on the Inhumans without Yo-Yo because no one has Yo-Yo high enough unless you paid for it.
Yeah.
And it got to the last wave of the unlock node, and I used the Black Bolt ult, and every single one of them was put to like red health, and Black Bolt only did the extra little burp attack on half of them, and then the rest of them killed him. So it took me an extra 5 attempts to beat it, because it just wasn't proccing when it should have procced.
Yeah. Well, fingers crossed, and here's hoping that we'll have limited amounts of problems coming in, especially if there is a potential for either Doctor Doom coming to the roster, or even, I think it might be a bit too early for the release of Dark Dimension 4. I think they might, personally, this is my guess, is they might leave it to the one after, patch 4.5. But we'll have to see what that is. It's
fair to assume that, but he is in the game files. Yeah. People say it's coming. It's hard to say.
And whether or not ISO 8 is anywhere around, like, nobody's been talking about ISO 8 for some time. Is this coming out around the same time as the level cap increase, or has this been pushed back further? I haven't heard anyone talk about that in some time.
That is true. I've seen, as recently as right before I got on this video, some information in the data mines about it in the game files about ISO 8. But what does it really mean? I can't really tell you. I'm not positive at this moment if it's coming soon, if they're still working through like the mechanics of it, because they've gone really in depth with ISO 8.
Mm-hmm.
They've really been thorough with it. For a company that I just accused of being very lazy and lackadaisical and not double checking their work, they have done the exact opposite with ISO 8. So in all likelihood, I think they actually have the mode ready, but they've been doing a lot of playtesting and a lot of research into it, and double checking, triple checking, because there's been a lot of stuff about it in the code for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So it could perhaps be ready right now. I think they're just planning on, I don't think they're wanting to release it at the same time as Dark Dimension 4. I don't think they want to release it at the same time as Tier 15 and Level 80. I think they're going to try and split it up just a bit, because with all of these things, there's going to be massive amounts of stuff going on, and they need to have their staff ready for every little bit of it. Especially, I'm not positive. I think they're still actually mostly working from home, which is insane to think we're getting as much content as we are in the unfortunate circumstances that we're in, with them working from home and giving us all this stuff. So yeah, there's going to be more bugs than there normally was, but that gives them extra reason, like, okay, we could release all of this next week in the next patch, whenever that's going to be, but perhaps we should like space this out. Like, we'll do this in a week, we'll do this in 3 weeks, then we'll do that in a month, or a month and a half, just to spread it out just in case. I could see them doing something like that.
I mean, since ISO 8 is going to be adding stats to the characters, maybe that's going to be later on after Dark Dimension 4, give that little bump for sort of the later players who are struggling, rather than releasing it at the same time. And, we can struggle Dark Dimension 4 for a couple months, and then they'll bring it out later on. Not to mention, there might be potentially a lot of balance issues related to ISO 8 because of the class system. We're not going to go over that, I don't think, but, there is quite a lot there. And what that means for each of the ISO 8 classes and whatever for each character, and who you decide to give it to, and what that means for balance in terms of the game, at least in the competitive modes, war and arena and things like that. So a lot of stuff there, but I was just thinking about it lately, because other than that one preview, I don't remember how long ago that was.
Well, there's been the 2 class previews so far.
Yeah, the more in-depth preview. I don't remember how long ago that was now. Maybe over a month now, and I hadn't seen anything more recently about it.
Yeah, no, that was a while ago. They did the one almost last year, if not the beginning of this year. Then they did a more in-depth one. Then they mentioned it in the road ahead for the rest of the
I remember that
year, but they didn't really commit to a specific time. I was thinking it was going to be October back then, so I'm okay sticking with my guess of October, just because it can't be proven wrong yet. So
that's true.
October seems reasonable at this point for that, but there's so much coming in such a short amount of time, it's hard to say. We know, the one thing that we know at this point, it's the weirdest thing to know, but we know Red Guardian is coming in November.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about him. I really blanked on that. Maybe it's because I wasn't really paying attention to Black Widow anymore after after these pushbacks and things. So then that would be maybe the 4.5 then with Red Guardian, potentially.
Yeah, so that could be actually a good way to try and pace it out, because they like kind of announced him. We have his portrait. We have everything we kind of need. I don't think we have his kit. If we do, I don't remember it. But I didn't pay enough attention.
He's going to be a better Captain America.
About the movie being delayed. He's Captain America, but he just has red ooze shooting out of him every time he does something.
But he's going to be a new character, so he has to be better. All the new characters largely are better than these older characters, so his kit must be better. Everything he does, but more. So
yeah, he does it with an accent. It's obviously better.
And whether or not there's a team, I don't know. I don't know if there's going to be a team attached to that or not.
Maybe Crimson Widow will come. Who knows? But that they kind of said it was going to be November, and I have no reason to assume that they've changed their mind on that. If they could just have a character sitting there for November, I think they kind of had a plan for that. So maybe, now that I'm thinking about it, Red Guardian, who we know was coming, and some other characters that they've had done for a long time come in that patch, it's a pretty good indication that they're going to do something really big with something else in the game. Like ISO 8 could be coming in November, because just it's easier to do it then. That's why, as you may recall, Alliance War came in a period where the character releases were just one Wakandan after another in Blitz.
I do remember that, I think, and I thought that was also around the same time as Falcon coming out, because they were trying to tease, or was it War Machine that they were trying to tease the Alliance War function because he had the military tag?
That came out a little bit after or a little bit before. But I know, like, the literal patch, I think it was a little before now that I think about it, but the actual patch where Alliance War came out, each of the Thursdays was just, it was like M'Baku Blitz, Killmonger Blitz, Killmonger Blitz.
Yeah, I kind of forgot all three of them were Blitz. Yeah, they were.
So they put no thought into that. Oh, it was literally back to back to back to back to back to back. It was just a long stretch of just Wakandan Blitzes, and then the Shuri Legendary events to wrap it off. But the reason was because it was easy to do that, and they could just focus on Alliance War. So maybe because we know that Red Guardian is coming in November, that's when they're going to do something big like ISO 8, just to take the strain off of them.
So you think that maybe Dark Dimension 4 might be coming this patch then, and then ISO 8 later, the next one after?
That could make sense. It would make sense. Or they could do something like this next patch, which it shouldn't be too long from now, I'd assume.
I think it's going to be 2 weeks from today for the patch.
2 weeks?
I think so. It could be as early as next week, but I think we would have heard more details if it was that soon. So I'm thinking Tuesday, the 29th of September for me personally. That's my estimation anyways.
That's a fair good estimation. Then the level 80 and tier 15 comes out. Then there'll be like a mid-patch update, probably mid-October-ish, maybe a little earlier. And then they'll do Dark Dimension 4, because they can't just release Dark Dimension 4 the day they give us tier 15. No one's going to be eligible.
Yeah, I mean, you need level 80 as well, and it's going to, depending on how many offers you buy for energy. I think 70 to 75 took me like 1 to 2 weeks per level, I think. So
perhaps,
for average players, it might take even up to 2 months maybe to get that.
But obviously there's going to be people spending money, and they're going to be the first to finish it. They're going to be finishing it before you're even ready with one character. It's just
the Tadano max of level 80.
I mean, the reports of the amount that it costs the person. What was it? I think someone did the math on how much he spent, that was familiar with what he was actually spending per day, and it was about $95,000 to do that.
Are we talking about Tadano Mac for Dark Dimension 3?
Yeah.
Wow, that's just...
But that was just doing it. That wasn't like the preparing or something along the lines of that.
Oh, I'm sure, because I mean, the amount of cores that you'd have to spend, because he did it so quickly, that I'm assuming it wasn't all one attempt, because Dark Dimension is really challenging. I'm assuming there was core revives included there. And this was pre-Ebony Maw and other characters as well, so...
It was a lot of money. So if someone's going to spend that for Dark Dimension 3, who knows what someone's going to do for Dark Dimension 4? So I just know I'm not going to be the first one to beat it. Like, I can be as prepared as I want. I'm not going to be. And I'm okay with that. I'm broke, but that would make me so much more broke, so I'm not doing it.
Just even the thought of spending that much money is I know, of course there's people out there, on any games, that do that, but man, that is not me. Occasionally I get accused of being a whale, but I assure you I am not. And there's people out there that spend a lot more. So
yeah, I haven't been accused of being a whale, but
it's because of my black order. I got like a almost 500k black order, and so people say, how did you get that? Largely free to play. I say largely. I did buy the initial character offers, but only one. I bought one character offer for Proxima, Corvus, and Cull Obsidian, and that was it. I blitzed really hard to get their shards and cored the event for Proxima, and I got good red stars. So
I'm taking a look at my black orders because I didn't buy a single black order offer. So I know mine is pretty big. Yeah, mine's 414k. But you can see almost all my power is gear and T4 abilities. Yeah. I don't have much stars on them. Like I have 7-star Thanos, 7-star Maw, 4 on the rest of them. So I guess that's why I don't get accused of being a whale, because I don't have star levels. I just do the gear.
For me, it's my Thanos, because I have a completely maxed out 7 red Thanos. But I actually pulled the 7 red Thanos, almost around the time Red Stars kind of came out. I got really, really lucky. And, back then I was using BKT for raids. And then when Black Order got announced, I was like, this patch is my patch. This is for me. And so, I was like number 1 in Arena for a long time until basically the second run of Ebony Maw now. And so now I'm struggling a little bit because everyone else has got the same stuff. So.
Right. Yeah.
Currently sitting at rank 8. I need to punch my way down again.
So yeah, that makes sense. Time-wise, if they do the level 80, when you said the 29th, I think you said.
I think that sounds reasonable.
Mid-October, at least bring Dark Dimension 4 to the game, and then they'll do ISO 8 November-ish, maybe the end of November, like the end of that patch. It's hard to say. But I think they're going to try and spread it out.
I think it could be as early as next Tuesday. The only reason why I say that is that the final Electro Blitz is this Thursday, running for 3 days, and Doc Ock's event is going live on Monday, the 21st of September. And they've had a habit of actually releasing the patch during the second Blitz of the final character. And so I think there's a possibility it could happen as early as next week. I don't know if it will, but maybe. So maybe it could come sooner. Because we have all the characters basically coming out by next week. And so there's nothing left.
The truest statement you can make about Fox Next. I mean, they've done this in the past. Is it true?
There's precedent for these kind of things. And I have this spreadsheet of mine where I just keep track of dates and releases, character releases, and the gap between certain things. And so, I like to make a pot of guesses when patches are going to go. So it could... Now I want to switch my guess to next Tuesday, but I'm not sure. So we'll have to wait and see.
So it's coming in one of the future Tuesdays. I mean, I do think you just mentioned something that kind of brought to mind something that just happened in the game. You said that if it was so soon, then we would have heard something by now. To be fair, in this most recent blog post, they said that at some point in the future, there's going to be a Doc Ock event, and that at some point soon, X-23 is coming to the War Store. Based on their history,
there could be some juicy news this Friday.
X-23 is tomorrow of when we're recording this. But it should, if it's according to their tradition, she should be coming tomorrow for when we're recording this. So their version of soon is horrible. Because if it's not when this tomorrow, that means that they are not even going to tell us until after the event when she's being made farmable. Like, that's bad.
Now that you say that, I'm almost thinking that maybe next Tuesday could be more likely, because it's going to be on the back of Emma Frost's milestones finishing. People would have spent a lot of gold. Therefore, if the level cap increase happens, they might not have the gold to bring characters up to like 76 or whatever, when they get there. Doc Ock is coming out, so if people, the small amount of people who are getting him, they'll be spending more gold on him. So people might be really low on resources you know, when it comes around, if this happens next week. So there is a maybe that, you know, that might happen, and they'll just leave it to the last minute, and whoops, here's level 80 coming. Good luck, commanders.
Exactly. I mean, let's be real. This is the most resource crunched I've ever been in this game, gold-wise. There's so many things I need to spend gold on right now, because they're all important. With Zemo, who is a lot better than people were expecting, that team being very, very good. Emma Frost, who is very important, and supposedly great at everything, who are all knocking through the milestones. You're needing to spend gold for those milestones. They gave us 2 Sinister Six members who are supposedly the best ones, so you need to build them. And they're giving, like, the amount of stuff that they're giving us that we need to work on right now is insane. And then just my timing, I finished Dark Dimension 3 a weekend and a bit ago for the first run. So it's like, okay, now I kind of want to bring some other characters to make the second run easier, because I don't want to spend as long on the second run as I spent on the first run, especially knowing Dark Dimension 4 is coming. So they're like, all right, here's the plan. We give you everything and anything. They're giving us more rumors. They're giving us more like teases than they've ever done before. The amount of like rumored and teased characters, it's insane right now. Like, not even from just the content creators and the people that are leaking stuff. Foxnext themselves is like teasing us with character names like crazy. Like, they basically teased us with Rogue, Gambit, and US Agent or Agent Venom or whatever, like all like out of nowhere. Like, where did this come from? We don't know, but they're just doing it over and over again right now, like trying to get people into this spending frenzy to get rid of all their resources. So yeah, it makes sense that they're trying to get us broke so that they can give us a reason to actually spend the money after the fact.
Yeah, and I think at the same time, I think, you know, being a mobile game, you really need, I keep saying resource management, but it really is true. You know, you really need to pick and choose your battles, or in this case, you know, who you're leveling up. And you need to think about it realistically. This, of course, depends on where you're at in the game and with your roster. You know, I'm lucky where I have most of the good meta characters up to, you know, 13 plus that are worth bringing up. So I'm a bit luckier than most that I have that luxury to be able to bring new characters up to 60, 65, you know, 6664 and all that. And it's not a problem largely for me, because I save well enough before the character comes out, and so I'm ready to do that. But not everyone, especially newer and mid-game players, aren't really prepared for that when there's so many other characters out there that they need to level up or gear up for events, campaigns, or raids, you know, whatever, you know. So yeah, I definitely feel it more for the new and mid-game players. It's very challenging for them. But I think at some point you need to think about it and maybe even skip a character, because you just can't, you know, you can't divert resources to them. And you know, if you're a newer player too, you know, I'm sitting at a 2-star Electro, even though I actually unlocked her with power cores, because I have a crazy ton of power cores. But, you know, I don't think 2-star is really viable for newer players, you know, so I wouldn't really bother on a lot of newer players, which is why I was talking about which patch character is going to be the campaign character, because they probably have a better chance of getting like a 4-star out of that than any of the Bliss characters. So, you know, resource management is the name of the game here. And
there are certain characters that do super speed stars. But
yeah. I mean, characters like Minerva, you know, Yo-Yo, that do really well even without the star levels. But, you know, pick and choose who you want to bring up, because you don't want to be, at the end of the day, you know, completely out of everything, and then you're just at a loss of what to do with your roster.
You don't want to be relying on a 3-star rocket at Ultima 7. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and so certain characters do better than others. Depends on the kit, of course, but yeah, I mean, I think for newer players, you need to really think about who you want to invest in and whether or not they're going to be useful at that star level too, versus someone that might be farmable now that, you know, you can get up to 6 or 7 stars, who might do better than some of these newer characters.
That actually brings to point something. Like, looking at my screen and hearing characters that aren't usable at 2 or 3 stars or whatnot, for some reason, I have known a lot of people recently who have unlocked Ebony Maw and have all 5 of the Black Order members who are just not building them because their Proxima Midnight is 2 stars. Just build your Black Order. It does not matter.
In this case, yeah, okay. In this case, you know, there are at some point. I don't know when, but they are going to become farmable at some point, and you do need the full team, obviously, to really do well. And I would say don't put them on ward defense, though, if you only have like a 20k Proxima, because then as soon as she dies, then Thanos will not be empowered anymore, and that's going to be an issue.
Yeah, just use them on offense and kill whatever the most evil-looking team, and you'll be fine.
All you need is a 7-star Thanos who's empowered thanks to everyone else, and then let him go to town.
Yeah, you just need your Thanos and Ma. The rest, it does not actually matter. Yes, they help.
Yeah.
But you can have, as long as they're like reasonably built and have their abilities done, your team will be fine. But yeah.
Thankfully, Yo-Yo's passive actually works quite well, but I'm looking at it right now, and I'm still at 4-star, and I played... I don't think I blitzed very hard when the first blitz came around for her, but, I've been playing a lot, and I'm still only at 4-star? Like, what's... That's sad for me. So I can only imagine what other people have her at like 2 or 3.
I haven't gotten a single orb drop of her since she was put in the orbs, so I'm at whatever I was back then. Like, whenever she was put in the orbs, I'm same thing now. Well, probably 3-star, maybe 4-star. Don't even know.
Well, I mean, I think that largely covers, I think, most of what we were meant to talk about, unless there's anything particularly that stands out to you that you might want to cover.
No, I think we not only covered everything
we probably covered. Yeah, we covered a lot extra as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we probably recorded at least the content enough for like 3 videos in supposed to what we were aiming for, but it was a lot of good information. I do think like we meant to just talk about the characters coming, but we ended up talking about everything coming in the game and what that all looks like, and have a lot of thoughts about that. And I think this is probably going to help a lot of people really plan ahead. And that's, again, you say resource management is very important, but another big part of this game is looking ahead, planning ahead, making a plan and sticking to it with the resource management. So I do hope this helps everyone. Yeah.
I mean, definitely. And now that we know sort of what's sort of coming in the near future, that should help people plan for that. And kind of like this patch too, a lot of people did just kind of decide to skip out on the Sinister Six characters because they knew they weren't going to get Doc Ock, and so it wasn't really worth for them, investing the resources into that and saving it for the patch after. And maybe that's something that people need to consider, when new patches come out. Do you want to invest in them, or is it better to hold out and maybe wait for the next patch after that, and see what kind of characters come out?
Right. I think the last character that I skipped at the time would have been Beast, but I've built him up since then because there was like a little lull for a bit. I'm like, okay, now I have resources, but I could deadly use a little lull right now. The issue is, assuming they do actually put X-23 in the war store before the event happens, I should be able to get Doc Ock. Like, I have everyone else. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to try and do this team, but with what gold, we'll figure that out as it comes in.
Did you blitz quite hard for X-23 when she first made her pass?
I meant to, but I was on a road trip. I was in the car, so no, not really. But I'm halfway to 5-star from 4-star. So
okay, that's not too bad. Did you get some good lucks in some orbs recently?
Yeah, I got a couple of drops, so not too far out, but I need the way to get there, and I'm not going to be spending for it. I'm going to do it however it takes, free to play. So I've saved up my war credits. I'm saving up some power cores because I think I'm going to have to refresh that war store, but they need to do their part and actually put her in a store.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully we will see her, not today, or it depends on when you're watching this video, but hopefully by Wednesday at store reset time. That gives you 5 days from then till the start of Doc Ock's event, and then if it lasts for 7 days, if we're lucky, that'll give you a total of potentially 12 days. So...
and for, I think I said 70, so that's going to be like 16 purchases for me or something.
It's a bit better 14. For you. You're a bit closer than most. I know some people, especially in my lines, who are in the 3-star level, who are still hoping somehow that they're going to manage, and that's going to involve a lot of power cores probably. And even then, it's going to be tricky. Lucky for me, I'm only 12 shards away, so I will probably get it. And good for me. But, I don't think he's going to be as game-breaking as like Black Bolt or Ebony Maw was. So we'll have to wait and see.
I don't know how game breaking he is in particular. I do have some people that have used him on the test account. I haven't. I don't have access to the test server, but they're saying that he is definitely a character people are going to be wanting to get. I don't know what that means, but it means something.
Who knows? Maybe he'll be someone you need for like Dark Dimension 4. You never know.
Yes, the first lane is you bring your tier 15.
It's gonna
Doc
be villain Tex. I don't know, something like that.
Any character you bring here must have at least 6 arms.
But I am looking forward to stuff in the future, and I hope that we get some more better news on the blog post on Friday. Maybe that might hint out at the new patch coming up, and maybe, if we're lucky, whether or not we're getting level 80 or not.
I guess we'll see. They've been adding puns to end off their puns and hints. I'm assuming the wrap your arms around is going to be Doc Ock. I couldn't see it being anything else. So I have no idea what tie-in they'll do for like next week. We're going to talk about like level 80 coming. So patch up your roster and wait for next blog post. I guess that's all they got. But yeah, I guess we'll see.
All right, so I think that just about covers it again, even though we just stretched it out a little bit longer. But I think we're actually donezo for the day today. But I do want to thank you for joining me in this discussion today.
Yeah, honestly, it was a lot of fun. I'd be glad to do this type of stuff again, or any other ideas you have. Just let me know, of course.
And of course, if you're watching this video on my channel, then I will also leave a description in the comment in the description section below for links to his channel as well.
Yeah. So make sure you subscribe to the channels that you're on and the other ones, because the button's free. That seems reasonable enough. And yeah, that's what I got.
And of course, stay safe out there. We are in some extra special times here with COVID, so make sure you're staying safe and all that jazz, and we'll see you all later.
Bye, guys.
Take care, everyone.